Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Cat Lady. That's two T's. My little friend here is blocking my sign. CATT, which stands for Craft All the Things. My name is Andrea. Did I say that? I don't even know. Today, if you're new, today's episode is kind of just me rambling on, which I do a lot, but I have not done a lot of crafty things this week. So I did a poll and I asked, hey, do you still want me to record? And overwhelmingly was a yes. So thank you for still wanting to listen to me ramble on, even though I'm not necessarily talking about a lot of crafty things. I'm just talking about life. So, but if you are new, I am a fiber related channel that talks about knitting, spinning, crochet, all the crafty things that I do. I have a Cricut, I have a circular sock machine, I have all these, a sewing machine, like things, and too many things that I can't get all the things done. But I like to craft all the things, so that's where we are. And I lied. I do have something crafty to share. So today, and I got it done today, because today I just said, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break. I'm not going to do anything that I need to do, even though there are things that need to be done. I'm going to do a little crafty things, and that's what I did. So here we are. Anyways, if you want to follow me on social media, I am the Cat Lady on Instagram. There is a Facebook group and a Discord server, which we can chat on. If you have any questions, you can comment down below. You can email me at thecatladydesigns@gmail.com. I will post links of everything that I talk about in the description box down below, and as well as all of my social media links are also down below. So there's that. So what did I finish? If you've been watching and following, you'll know that I started my dragon mitt gloves. My cats are whining at the door, and I just don't want to deal with them in this room because it's messy. So if you hear the sad meows, then just know it's for their own good. Anyways, I have finished my dragon scale gloves today. So I was like so close. I was to the point where I was like right on the cuff part. Like I'd finished the thumb hole. I was like right on the cuff. I just needed to do that. It didn't take long. It took like an hour tops, maybe. So they're done. And I like them. I don't love them, but I like them. Like, I feel like the yarn is a little stiff. Again, the original pattern called for like a single ply kind of DK weight. This is a Aran weight acrylic. I'm going to wash them. They might soften up a little bit because that's what acrylic yarn tends to do. That's what cheap acrylic yarn tends to do. So stuff like Caron Simply Soft, it's soft. Actually, Caron Simply Soft would probably be a good fit for these, but I wanted them to look, I wanted a variegated yarn. I wanted them to kind of look dragony. I do feel like it's got the dragon vibes. Like I've said before, our city is all things dragons. So like our whole city is dragon, the school, dragons, dragon. So I'm embracing the dragon, and with Stitch Quest coming up, which fast forward a couple videos, in the header I usually have what I talk about, so find one that says Stitch Quest, and then that'll explain that. The links for the Ravelry group are below for that as well. I just don't feel like talking about it today. It's still a work in progress. It starts next year, so. Also follow Happy Little Yarn. Amy, she's the maker of Stitch Quest. It is a make-along, basically, knit crochet, so. But it's fantasy themed, so I like got excited and made some dragon mitts. So these will be good for football games that I don't want to go to, but I want to see my child march in the marching band, so I have to go to a football game. I don't like sports. Unless it's my kid doing sports. I don't want to watch sports. So now I have to drag myself to high school football games because she performs in the marching band, and she performs before a game and in the middle of the game. So like I have to stay at least till halftime. So I have to watch half a game, and then last time I left early and Jim stayed. But I'll get into that because that is part of my story of the week. But these are done, so I'm excited. Other things that are done, but not really. Where did I do? Oh, is it downstairs? Darn it. Wasn't really a thing, but it is. Oh, darn. Oh, well. So I had one piece of Clancy left. So this was my Clancy stole. It's 21 Pilots related. The album name is Clancy. It's a whole thing. And I had one piece left, which was like this big. And I just went ahead and crocheted it onto a piece of ribbon. So it's going just to be a decorative something. I don't know where it's going to go, but I have one little tiny Clancy on a piece of ribbon, but I think I left it downstairs. So I did that too. Why did I do that? Oh, I was fixing Emily's shirt. So, last thing I'll show off. Oh, couple things I'll show off. Okay. I got another present for my husband, and my Lego flower collection is really big and needs to be done, but I'm waiting to find places to put it. So I either need to clean my shelves and put them here, or we're going to clean the shelves downstairs and put them there. But once I have a spot, these things will go together in no time. But this one is super cute. They're all very like small, so they're very easy to put together. You can put them together in a day. 327 pieces. Plum Blossom. So I saw this in the store and I like really wanted it, and then the next day he didn't even know, like I just saw it, I'm like, oh, I really want that one, and of course I didn't buy it. But then the next day it was on the table for me in the morning, so that was super cute. So it's like, oh, you got it for me. I got the steal of a lifetime. I mean, it's nothing super exciting, but I was really excited. So if I think about if I try to be good, I will put in a picture of it's like a boho style granny square tank top, and it's granny squares, and it's like they're diamond shaped. So I made like 10 squares and had them all together, and then I like crocheted some netting mesh kind of, I guess, up top, and then it's got fringe. So it's like a tank top with like fringe bottom, bunch of the granny squares, and it goes around front and back. I wore it to Yellow Springs, Ohio, whatever, wool gathering maybe it was called, a couple of years ago. And I really liked it. And it was made using Bernat stripes. And every time I go to the store, I look at Bernat stripes, and there's literally only one color. And it's the color I used. And it was just so easy because I made the granny squares just round and round, didn't pay attention to the color sequence, nothing at all. And all the squares were like slightly different, but they all match because it's the same yarn. But you have just all these squares that are all the same colors, but different sequence of colors. So it was kind of fun. So I'd like, anytime I'm like, if I see another Bernat stripes colorway, I would like to get it and either make another top, make a shirt, I don't know, make something, because I just thought it was such a fun, quick, and I made that super fast because it was like the week before I was leaving. I'm like, I really want to I was going to wear my granny squared crop top thing I have, but it's long sleeve and it's really heavy. And I thought the weather was going to be like cooler because it was in September, so it can be hit or miss. But it was going to be burning hot, so I needed to switch gears into something summery. So that I literally threw it together like that week. So, but I go to Meijer, which is my local grocery store, and every time I go to Meijer, I run down the little yarn aisle, which is literally like one little section. It's got Lily's Sugar and Cream cotton. It's got Mandala, Lion Brand Mandala. It's got, you know, some Bernat or Karen jumbos. Maybe Bernat, I don't remember, but it's got just the basic stuff. It's nothing fancy, but I always look. Oh, it's got Bernat blanket, you know. But if it's something that's on sale, or if I have something in mind, I will sometimes snag it. And it's just usually impulse grocery shopping. I'm not there for yarn, but I grab something. So lo and behold, I see it's not even in the right spot. I see Bernat stripes in this really pretty, like brown, tan, cream colorway. And I'm like, oh, and I see the one. And at the time, and that's the colorway I have that I made the shirt out of. So it was that colorway. So like, I should Google it to see if they have other colors of this. But I was like very excited. I'm like, oh, I'll get one. Maybe I'll make another top, because I literally used one skein for the top, I think. I'm pretty sure I used one skein because that's all I had. Because again, I bought it on a whim at Meijer, probably. Tried to use it in my cranking Addy Express. Did not do well. Did not want to crank at all. So it's like, okay, some yarns just don't want to crank. Should try this one just to see. Sometimes the texture, it just doesn't want to crank well. So I saw this, and I happen to be using the scanning app. So when you walk through the store, and if I'm doing just a low key, picking up odds and ends, I will load the scan app, and then you scan as you go. So you get your stuff, you scan it, and I have like reusable shopping bags that I'll use. So I was doing that. So I scanned it, and it came up as like 50 cents or something. I'm like, oh, well, I'm taking this. And then, actually, I think it was less. I don't remember what it came up. It came up as something very cheap. Like, something was not right, cheap. And I'm like, I wasn't going to question it. So then I went back to look to see if there was more, and so there were 4. So I got 4 of them. My total cost for all 4 of them was $1.16. So whatever that is divided by 4 is how much it was per skein. It's like, wow. And that's all they had. They didn't have any yarn. But they had the other colorway. So they had the colorway that was on here. And that was scanning. It was on sale, but it was on sale for $2.99. So I don't know what this is. This is some random, like, it's probably discontinued. I'm assuming this is discontinued yarn. And, like, this colorway is just, like, popped up in a warehouse somewhere. And they're like, oh, we need to get rid of it. That's my guess. I'm going to have to look it up. But I got 4 skeins of yarn for $1. That's cheaper than the Salvation Army. So, super pumped. Now I'm thinking I can make, like, I can make a granny's tote bag. Or I still kind of want to make another top. So I might make another top with 1 skein. And then I have 3 skeins left to make anything. Something granny squared, though, because I feel like this makes just really fun granny squares. So striped yarn. This specific stripes, I don't know. I like the way it looks. So stay tuned for that. Not that I don't have a million other things that I'm supposed to be doing. But there's that. And I also got this guy. I will put in a video next to me of this guy in action because you cannot see his head. Another impulse purchase on Oriental Trading Company because I needed pom-poms that I still, they came late. Again, we'll talk about that. But I'll show you this guy since another procurement. So here's my friend. It's my little spooky Halloween friend. He does make some sounds, so. Isn't he fun? Halloween. He's going to go on my front porch. He's supposedly, I need to get something to weigh him down because it is a little, it's not super sturdy, but, and he needs a little steam too because his robe's very wrinkly, but, I would like to put him out on my front porch, so I need to like make sure he's secure, so throw some rice bags down at the bottom or something, or sand, I don't know, I'll figure that out, but, I'm excited to decorate for Halloween, but we're not quite there yet. So, now it's time for story time. So last week, the last I recorded, I believe, was Friday, and we were gearing up for our first football game / marching band. So we did that Friday. David was sick, so he was sick Thursday and Friday, so that was kind of a bummer. So he stayed home, and Jim and I kind of tag teamed the game. So I went early because I needed to get Emily food. And I figured I'd snag us our seats, whatever, get in there. And we needed to be there before the game started because they had a pre-game show. Or like they played like the school fight song and, you know, they did their thing. So we got there and did that. I got there at like 4, gave Emily food and just kind of hung out. I brought my stuff. I think I probably did like a row or two. And I was going to bring it in with me, but it's like weird. They get weird with the bags, like no bags and whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not going to worry about it. So I sat in my car and I did like a row or 2 of the gloves and then called it a day. So then I went in and Jim met me there and we saw the pre-show and then like pretty much just had to watch the football game. Luckily the weather was nice because as the time goes on, it's going to get cold. So weather was perfect. It was nice. Clear night. You know, I had a hoodie. Didn't really need, I used it half the time. Like it wasn't really, like it was good. Then they performed their halftime show, which is also their competition piece. So they have like, they're a competitive marching band. So they have a show piece that they do. So they did that for halftime, which we'd already seen like a preview of that, the previous week. So, but that was fun. And then I left at halftime. So after the halftime show to get back home to David. So I didn't get home. I got home around 9. So Jim stayed to wait for Emily to finish because she needs to stay till the end of the game and do the whole, you know, side band stuff and cheer on the football team, yada, yada. Then Saturday, Emily had to be back at the school at 7 a.m. for a competition that was in Ohio. So we live in Michigan. It was about an hour and a half. So it wasn't far, but it wasn't close either. And their call time was early. They were the second band to perform. So we had to drop her off. So Jim, thankfully, he's more of an early riser. He took her in the morning. I got to sleep in a little, but not really. And then she forgot all her things, basically. She showed up with, like, nothing. Like, everyone's showing up with bags, extra clothes, whatever. She showed up with, like, nothing. So then he had to come back home, and I helped pack stuff, and he went back and gave it to her. So that was the thing. That was the thing. David was feeling better and he wanted to go, so we left at like 9, a little after 9. It was like 9:05, and then we had told ourselves we're gonna leave at 9. That was dumb. We ran into some traffic. It, you know, again with the early call time, we kind of squeaked in right at last minute. Like we got there, we parked. By the time we got in and sat down, they were going. They were like gonna go. They were already like waiting on the field, so it was like a little bit tight there, so that was kind of dumb. So we were all stressed out, but we made it, and it was at Toledo University of Toledo Glass Bowl Arena. So it was in a big stadium, outdoor seating, super hot. So sun was like beaming right on us. But we got to watch her perform, and then that was like 11:30. We had to sit and wait until 4:45, 5 o'clock. By the time they actually got out there, it was like 5 o'clock to announce who goes to the finals. So you had like 20 bands, and like 12 of them go to finals. But you don't know until all 20 bands go, and then they do the awards for finals. So after they performed, we had no contact with Emily, really. She was around and she could text, but she was with the band the whole time. So like we left, we went and got lunch. They were getting food provided. So we got lunch at Texas Roadhouse, and I got a giant beer. It was a tall. It was huge. It was really good. It just went down real smooth. And I got salad. We got one of those cactus blossom, which is like blooming onion. And we just had a leisurely lunch because we really didn't know what we were going to do. We kind of played with the idea of going home. But if we went home and then they were the first one to perform in finals, if they made it, we would barely make it back. So it was kind of dumb to go home. So we took a leisurely lunch, and then we wandered around Meijer. And while we were at Meijer, Emily's like, can you get me a hairbrush? Can you get me this? Can you get me that? So then we ended up getting some stuff from Meijer and taking it back to her. And we just sat in the car, and it was hot. And like Jim was like turning the car on and then turning the car off and then on and off because it's hot and he didn't want to run the car for too long. And David's like, I'm hot, I'm tired. It was like, and I was just too tired. I was just too frazzled. Plus, after having a large beer, I was kind of tired. I didn't want to work on anything because I brought my project. Again, though, with the bags. No bags were allowed unless they were clear bags. Jim had bought a clear bag, but we didn't bring the clear bag because he's like, well, maybe we don't need to bring anything in. I didn't have my projects. And again, I was just like so fried. So we just in and out of the car, just kind of like dilly-dallying around. Finally, like 4 o'clock, we went back inside to see the finals, or it was like 4:30, whatever it was. Sat down, got to the announcements or whatever. And pretty much it was just them announcing the winners and who was moving on. Well, we made it to finals. Yay, boo. I mean, it was like, you're always happy to see them win, but it's like, oh my God, we're stuck here for so much longer. So then it was dinner time. We took David to Taco Bell. Jim and I ate our leftover Texas roll. Oh, at Meijer, we got a styrofoam cooler and ice because I had half a salad last. I'm like, I can eat this for dinner. It was a nice chicken salad. I was smart enough to ask for to-go silverware. So I'm like, I can eat this for dinner. So we didn't have to get concessions or something, like greasy and gross. But we got David Taco Bell and I got a large Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, which was really good at that point too. So then they made it to the finals, and at like 10 o'clock, David was crashing. And we were only like halfway through the bands performing. So there was still like, okay, so 12 bands. I think there was still like 6, at least. Yeah, I think there was like 6 left, maybe 5 left. And Dave was like, I really want to go home. And Jim's like, maybe I should take him home. So again, tag team moment. So we saw our band perform. We saw Emily perform. So like there was no real reason for him to be there, obviously, to see if they win something, but the bands were really good. Our band was good too, but like the other bands were like really good. So we knew that we weren't going to place like top tier, really. So we felt pretty good about going. And I was going to stay and be there. And so we couldn't take Emily home anyways. Like we could have left. We could have left whenever. We didn't even have to be there. She had to go there on the bus. So she had to go on the bus, she has to go home on the bus. So there was no reason there was a reason for us to be there, but we didn't have to be there. Not all the parents were there. And this was bands across the Midwest. So there was a New York band, there was Indiana, Illinois, and there was quite a few Michigan bands, but like this was a kind of a unique competition. It's called Bands of America. So like it was different than just like Michigan competition. So, so he left with David, and they got home like 11:30, which was good. It might have been earlier than that. Maybe they left at like 9. Maybe they got home at like 10:30. Maybe that sounds about right. Maybe they left at like 9. So, and I was going to catch a ride home with a mom friend that was there. So, so that worked out. So then we just, me and the other mom just sat and watched the rest of the show and then the awards, and we came in 7th place out of 12. So like kind of in the middle, you know, it was fine. Band director was pleased, said this competition was very fierce and very close. Like the spread of points was closer than he's ever seen it before. Band performed well. It's not their whole show. They didn't even have their whole show completed. They have 4 parts. They have 3 done. They have not learned the last song. So it's an incomplete show. So they're still working on it. But yeah, he was very surprised how intense the competition was. And so that's a little concerning because, again, there were a lot of Michigan bands that we'll be up against. And our team tends to place high and make it to finals. So I don't know if they're going to make it this year. And honestly, I mean, their show's good, but like the other shows were just like better. They're a little more flashy, a little more colorful, a little more memorable. Our show is a little bit somber toned, and like the props that they use are just kind of there. And I don't know, I'm not feeling the oomph that I felt with some of the other ones. So, and I hate to say that, but Emily feels the same way. So kind of a bummer being her first year that they may not do well, but it's only her first year. So she's got 3 more years to be parts of different shows that are hopefully a little more grandiose, I guess you could say. So, so that was Saturday, and we didn't get home until 2 a.m. because we had to go back to the school, and then we had to wait for the buses to get back to the school, and Jim met me up there. So, because my friend took me to the school, and then I'm like, oh, you don't, there's no reason you should have to take me home before you go home. So even though it was kind of on our way, but Jim's like, I'll come up. So he came up, we got Emily, yada, 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 got home, 2 o'clock. We woke her up at noon the next day. Sunday, I don't even remember Sunday. Sunday's a blur. What did we do? We had pizza. I remember we had pizza on Sunday. And then it was like hitting the ground running all this week. Monday was robotics. Tuesday was scouts. Wednesday, I had a robotics mentor meeting in the morning with some of the other business moms. And I was there until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I got there at 10. We didn't get done talking until 2. There was just so much. There's so much to be done, so much to talk about, so much to do. It was crazy. So by the time I get home, then it's time for David to come home from school. And then was that Wednesday? Okay. And then Emily comes home, and then I take David to piano. And then I get home, and I got to take Emily to high school robotics interview. So they have a freshman team that starts now. So regular team, varsity team doesn't start till winter. But freshman team starts now. So we interviewed for robotics, and by the time I got home, it was like 8:30, and I still hadn't taken my walk. I take a walk every day. We have these Apple Watches that track our fitness, and you have to get 30 minutes of exercise in every day. And I'm on like day 445 or something, so I'm not going to break my streak. So there I go, down on the treadmill to do my half-an-hour walk at 8:30 at night. So thank goodness we had a treadmill to use, because I'd be waving my arms around in the bedroom if not, which it has happened before. So there's been fake workouts before where it's just like, you're just kind of moving around. So yeah, I did that. And so then I collapsed into bed Wednesday. Thursday was another robotics day. And of course, all afternoon I'm working on robotics stuff because I got to get the stuff ready for the night, for the meeting. And then it's Friday. It's Friday, and it's already like end of September, like mid-September, near the end of September. And I'm like, what is happening here? And tonight, Emily's got pep band. So, which means she goes to an away game. She's getting a ride there. And then Jim's going to go pick her up. So at least we don't have to go to a game. But she's going to go do pep band. And then tomorrow is another marching band / robotics day, which means she goes from 9 to 9 at the high school. And Jim and I will be at robotics, and David will be at robotics from like 9:30 to noon near the high school. They're all in the same area. So now we got to get Emily dinner and pick her up. And then Sunday we have a funeral viewing, like not a viewing. That's not a viewing. It's the visitation, I guess. It's cremation, so there's no viewing essentially, but it's like the open house thing you do. It's not the ceremony. So Jim and I are going to that. It's for a friend's mom. So, you know, of course, that's not fun, of course. So we'll do that. And then Monday I have the service to go to. So that's that. And then we start over. Robotics, scouts, when piano, robotics. Friday I collapse. Unless there's a football game. There might be a football game. I don't know. I haven't checked the schedule. It's a week-by-week basis. So, yeah. When I say I don't have time to work on anything, I really don't have time to work on anything. And then back to things that I have worked on. So I made those nice band shirts for Emily. So the pink and the blue. And she wore it. So I finished those, Thursday last week? And then she wore the pink one on Friday. She texted me from school. Uh-oh, I got a stain on my shirt. And it's just this tiny little chocolate stain. I'm like, oh, that's fine. That'll come off. Later in the afternoon, she texts me again. Bad news. Which, okay, that was a bad thing to tell me. I'm like, bad news? What? What did you? Are you not going to the band? What's going on? I got a bloody nose and I have blood on my shirt. I'm like, oh my god. She's like, it's not that noticeable. I'm like, okay, it'll probably come out. You know, that's a trickier one, but if it's just a couple spots, we can come out. She comes home. There's blood splatter all over her shirt. Like they're not big spots, but they're all little spots everywhere, top to bottom. She had had a bloody nose and then went running and it got everywhere. I'm pretty sure 90% thought it was a lost cause. I still tried and I did follow directions. I put hydrogen peroxide everywhere. It was dabbing. I was cold watering. I was scrubbing with a toothbrush and dish soap. I did all the things and then I let it sit for a day because I was doing it in sections when I had time. I came back to it actually and it looked pretty good. And that was before I even washed it. So then I hit it with some spray and wash and threw it in the wash. And lo and behold, the thing looks good. I mean, if you look really close, you might be able to find a little spot here and there, but boy, she could wear it. She can wear it and not look absurd. So I was gonna say, I can make you another one because I have the vinyl. Just need to get another shirt, but I don't want to. Don't want to make you another one. The vinyl was a little crinkly. That's the one thing with Cricut vinyl. I mean, I like Cricut shirts, but every time I feel since I don't have a proper heat press and I just have the Cricut press, I can never get a good, it's either I overheat it originally or I just don't get it enough press. So I pressed it again. I'm hoping it's fine. But that seems to be my ever-going battle with Cricut shirts. I will never sell Cricut shirts unless I get I will never sell Cricut shirts. But if I got a heat press, maybe I would consider it. But I will never sell Cricut shirts. So that was the shirt saga. So thankfully we saved that. I might have said I was going to talk about something else later and forgotten because again, there's just so much in my head, so much going on. I don't know what's what anymore. So I'm going to continue to try to keep up with things. What am I working on next? Do I have anything? I mean, I have a lot of half projects that need to be started, but do I have something that I want to start? I don't know. No. Kind of want to start the Sea Dragon, but I don't have yarn for it. So I don't know yet. So I'm currently projectless, I think. Something's going to pop in my head and be like, oh yeah, I should be working on that. But I have squares, hexagons. I have hexagons to finish still. Remember that? Does anyone remember that? I was making a blanket. Got my granny fanny to sew. I got spinning I could do. Maybe I'll do a couple spinning, though that's relatively portable, and I'm doing my little minis here, these little into the world odds and ends. I could work on those. That might be something, the little palette cleanser, if you will. But I just talked to a friend today. I kind of want to make a muscle burrow hat. So it's a tube hat. So you start on the crown of one end, you increase to the size you want, and then you do the other side. You make it two, it's like a hat, two hats seamed together, but it's all one piece. I'm sure you've heard of it. And then you fold it inside itself, and it's like a double thick beanie, and it's slouchy, and it uses fingering weight, and I have all these is this fingering weight? I just pulled out something that looked really pretty. Fingering weight, so it uses fingering weight. This is apparently self-striping, which I didn't realize, but that would be really pretty. That would be a really pretty hat. Like all of these yarns that I have would be super pretty as a hat, and it would just be one skein. Oh, I have like a single. This would be really pretty. I don't know. This one might look weird. Self-striping would be good because if it's too variegated, then it gets the weird like flashing and stuff, and like I don't like that as much. But like I don't know, and that would be mindless. Like it's just round and around and around. So I don't know. I don't know. So thank you for listening to my TED Talk. My TED Talk about how crazy my life is. And thank you for continuing to watch. We are close to 2,000, so if you have friends that you know might like watching weird, crafty videos with people talking to themselves, then please spread the word, share, like the video, comment, follow. I mean, all those things will just help push me into the YouTube atmosphere to get more people to come play along. So that's all I got. So I talked for 30 minutes. Perfect timing. So I will say a fond farewell. I hope everyone has a good weekend. I hope you have a good week. And I hope you get to craft all the things